Sadasamad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavindra ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem Sakho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gaur Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Girivardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Swami Bhaktivinoda ki jai, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय. All glories to the Assembly Lord. All glories to the Assembly. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So this morning Srimad Bhagavatam class will be on the first canto, chapter 2, verse 4, recorded on the 28th of May 1974 in Rome. That's the first canto, chapter 2, verse 4, recorded 28th of May 1974 in Rome.
Om Namo Bhagavate Va.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Narayanam Personality of Godhead. Namaskritya After offering respectful obeisances. Naram Chaiva and Narayana Rishi. Narottamam the supremst human being. Devim the goddess. Saraswatim the mistress of learning. Vyasam Vyasadeva. Tataha thereafter. Jayam all that is meant for conquering. Udiraye be announced. Translation. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supremst human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author.
This is the parampara system. As you get knowledge, step by step, Krishna is the original spiritual master, and then from Krishna Lord Brahma learned the Vedic knowledge. Tene Brahma Rida Adikavahi. In the Bhagavatam it is said that where from Brahma got his knowledge. Because whenever we want to get knowledge, we must approach a superior person to get knowledge. Tad vijnanartham sa guru meva vigaccha. Guru means superior. So, who was the superior person when Brahma got knowledge? Because there was no other creature. He is the first creature. Therefore, it is said, the superior person was Krishna, but he was not present. We see Krishna was present before Arjuna, but nobody was present before Brahma. Therefore it is said, Tene Brahma Rida Adikavai. Rida, through the heart. Because Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. Actually, he is the spiritual master, Chaitya Guru. So, in order to help us, he comes out as physical spiritual master. Therefore, Sakshadharitvena Sama, spiritual master is representative of Krishna. Krishna sends some sincere devotee to act on his behalf, and therefore he is spiritual master. So, this is the parampara system. As you receive knowledge, step by step, Narayana, Krishna instructed Vyasdeva, Brahma instructed Narada, Narada instructed Vyasdeva, Vyasdeva instructed his disciple Madhacharya. In this way, we have to go through also the same way. First of all, offer respect to the spiritual master, as he has done to Sukadeva Goswami. Tanabhyasa Sonam Upajami Munin Guru Munina. Then his spiritual master, then his spiritual master, then his spiritual master. Just we have got the pictures. First of all your spiritual master, then his spiritual master, his spiritual master, his spiritual master, and ultimately Krishna. This is the process. Don't try to approach Krishna directly, jump over. That is useless. As you receive knowledge through the steps, parampara system, similarly, we should approach Krishna through this step. Narayanam namaskritta naranchaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraya. In this way, you become glorified. All the Vedic literature and the Puranas are meant for conquering the darkest region, tamondham, we have already discussed. Atitithim satam, samsarinam karunaya aha. Samsarinam karunaya aha, purana guhyam. Madhyato deepamati titir satam tamondham. That is human civilization. How to get out of this darkness of ignorance. Not the dogs and cats jumping in very turbulent time, a big dog, let me jump. This is not civilization. That is animal civilization. They are jumping naked, we are jumping dressed. That's all. That is the difference. Otherwise, what is the difference? So long we have got this bodily concept of life. Let me enjoy this body, senses. Body means the senses. Indrani pararahu. So long one is in the darkness, his predominant feature of enjoyment is the senses. Let me, I've got this tongue, let me eat. Whole day, go to the restaurant, cut throat of this animal, that animal, and enjoy. Let him go to hell, let me enjoy. This is jivhalo. Tar madhye jivhavati lobhamaya sudurmati. Tare jita kothina samja. Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, amongst the senses, the most powerful sense is the tongue. Most powerful sense. You see, they're smoking, chain smoker, going on. What is it? There is some sensation, and if we smoke cigarette or drink, it's simply the tongue. The tongue is dictating. Do this, do that. Take this, take coffee, take tea, smoke, take and flesh, take chicken, take this, take. That means, out of the all senses, the tongue is the most formidable. Therefore, Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, Tar madhye jivavati lobhamaya sudurmati. Tare jita kothina samsara. It is very difficult to conquer over the tongue. And if you can conquer over the tongue, then you can conquer over the belly, and then you can conquer over the genital. The straight line, one after another. Dharmadhya jivavati. So, you know the story that one dog was crossing over a small rivulet, and he saw the picture of another dog in the water, and actually there was no dog. He was carrying some food in his mouth, and he saw another dog within the water. So he thought, let me take his foodstuff from the mouth, and as he opened the mouth, he wanted to take the other dog's foodstuff, whatever he had, gone. You see, this is dog philosophy. Take others. Take others means he loses his own. This is called illusion, Maya. You did not read this? It's a famous story. It is a very instructive story. This is dog's philosophy. This is dog's philosophy. All these so-called empires, this Roman Empire was expanded, the British Empire was expanded. Now they have lost everything. Finished. The dog's business was finished. But this kind of expansion, unnecessarily. Therefore, our philosophy is be satisfied, whatever God has given you. Tena taktena punjita. Ma gridha tasya siddhanam. You be satisfied whatever is given to you by God, allotted to you. Don't try to encroach upon others' property. This is civilization. But man is transgressing this law, nature. They are not satisfied to become localized. They want to expand. If you want to expand, but expand something which will be beneficial to the human race. That's why we are expanding Krishna consciousness. This is required to be expanded. Because the cats and dog civilization will be controlled. But to expand the cats and dog civilization to compete with another dog is the same story, subscribable story, to capture the other dog and take its place. And then do the these are very instructive. So the business, real business is samsarinam adhyatma ati tithil satam. One should come to senses that I am eternal. I hear from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that na hannate sarire, na hannate hannamane sarire. I am not finished. After my body is finished, then if I am not finished, where do I go? Where I remain? This is intelligence. But they have no information that the eternal soul, na hannate hannamane sarire. They are thinking, all of a sudden by this body has developed and we have got good senses. Let us enjoy these senses. There is no life. It is finished. Big professor in Russia, that Professor Kotovsky told me, Swamiji, after finishing this body, there is anything, everything is finished. That is the basic principle of modern civilization. That there is no life after death, and whatever senses we have got, let us enjoy it. And then, Vashibhutasya Dehasya, that it is not a new thing. This atheistic philosophy was there long ago. They have not discovered anything new. It is already there. In India, the atheistic philosophy was already there. Charvak, he used to say, enjoy life. Senses, gratify your senses. Savara, no, I have no sufficient money. Adhinam kritya, take, beg, borrow, steal, big money. There are three methods of getting money. If one hasn't got money, then beg. Just you are begging. Professional beggar, sannyas. They beg, borrow, and those who are not beggar, they borrow from friend or steal or by hook and crook. So that is Charvak theory. Bring money, savara, beg, borrow or steal. Rinam kritya, very word is used. If you have no money, then take loan from your friends. Rinam kritya kritang pived, javat jive sukhang jive. Now I have to pay back. How can I take loan? If I don't pay, then I shall remain debtor and I will have to pay in my next life. No, don't bother about next life. Vashibhutasya dehasya kuto punaragama. Then your body, when it is finished, it will burn into ashes. Then the ashes will be lost there. No more you are coming. So this is going. Because people have no knowledge about the next life, they are not interested with the spiritual education. That is the difficulty. They are not at all interested. Why people do not come here? They think that these people will say that there is life after death and if you do not do nicely, you will have to suffer. All this nonsense we have to hear, utopia. They are not interested. They are so dull. The facts, Krishna is giving an example. Dehinasmin jatha dehi kumar, as you are changing your body. We have changed, every one of us, we have changed body. I was a baby, I was a child, I was a boy, I was a young man. Now I have got a different body. Where those bodies gone? They have no brain to think. I had all this body. That's a fact. And they are not existing now. That's a fact. It is still, I say, there is no other body after me. What is the reason? What is the logic? How simple logic is given by Krishna, not ordinary person, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead says that as you have changed so many bodies, passed through so many bodies, every medical science says every minute we are changing body. That's a fact. Just like the other day, Dr. P. Banerjee came, that girl I saw 12 years ago, 1955, I saw that girl, 1955, how many years ago? Huh?
19.
19 years.
Huh?
19, 20.
So that girl has grown up now 19 years. At that time, she was on the lap of her mother. So I answered, oh, your daughter has grown up so much. She has changed so many bodies. But that body which I saw in 1955, that is not existing. Where is the illogical? That body is not existing, but the girl is there. Her mother, father, yes, she is my daughter, that daughter which you saw so little. The body has changed so many times. So similarly, when I shall give up this body, I must have another body. And Krishna said, Tatha dehantara prakti. And this is called samsara. The samsara means repetition of different bodies. That is called samsara. Here, samsarinam karuna. Therefore this Krishna consciousness movement is to be compassionate to these rascals who are in the cycle of changing body after body. It is a great movement. Everyone, all over the world, they are thinking there is no life after death. But that is not the fact. The fact is, as you have changed so many bodies in this life, you have to change this body, you have to accept another body. It's a great dangerous position that they do not think. If I accept another body of a tree, then I will have to stand in one place for thousands of years. This is the science. Now, I cannot stay for 5 minutes in the Bhagavad Gita class, but if I am given the body by nature, you are under the grip of nature. You cannot say, you cannot stop your death when nature asks you, now you must die. You cannot, your science cannot stop this. So you are under the grip of the nature. Prakriti kriyamanani guni karmani sarvasva. So if the nature gives you, now you take this body of banyan tree and stand here for 5,000 years. You can stop it. Will your scientific knowledge can stop it? Is it possible? Then what is your science? If you are under the grip of the material nature, prakriti kriyamanani guni karmani sarvasya, ahankar vimunatma kartaham iti mannate. Although he is pulled by the ear, by the material nature, he is thinking, he is free, he is freedom. They are struggling for freedom. What is this nonsense freedom? You are under the grip of the material nature. Where is your freedom? Now you have got, nature has given you this human form of body. Next you may get another body, next you may get, that is completely under the control of material nature. So, they do not know. They do not know completely in darkness. Tamondham. Therefore those who are eager to cross over this ocean of ignorance, for them these instructions are there. Narayanam namaskritam naranchaiva narottamam. You have to go to the parampara Krishna. Some missing, tapasya, jnana. Bahavo jnana tapasya puto man agata. So, by jnana, by knowledge, by tapasya, you have to make progress. This is Krishna consciousness. Thank you. Jai Shri.
So Hare Krishna everyone, this is the last kind of a moment stepping in. I don't know who's supposed to be the facilitator. Is it you, Govinda Prabhu? So it was very interesting, very instructive verse. The one which it was from the first canto, chapter number 2, verse number 4. And I'm going to read the translation. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Nara Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. So it's a very famous verse, and Prabhupada was speaking in different sections. He basically starts, oh, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. He basically started in the beginning about the importance of the parampara system and how the knowledge is descending in this system of guru and disciple. Prabhupada was instructing or sharing, and I'm quoting here, because there was no other creature, he is the first creature. Therefore, it is said, the superior person was Krishna, but he was not present. So here is describing who was the first receiver of this transcendental knowledge in the universe. And who was that? Lord Brahma, exactly. And then Prabhupada describes Hrida Adi Kavaye. He said Hrida, through the heart, because Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. Actually, he is the spiritual master, Chaita Guru. So in order to help us, he comes out as a physical spiritual master. And then Srila Prabhupada comes later on and describing the importance of understanding who is the spiritual master and what is our individual relationship with Guru, with the spiritual master. Prabhupada continues, Krishna sent some sincere devotee to act on his behalf, and therefore he is spiritual master. So in my humble understanding, Srila Prabhupada is presenting the important points of understanding that the Guru is a physical or external manifestation of Paramatma. And this is a basic point from the Srimad Bhagavatam and other respective scriptures. Srila Prabhupada continues. Narada instructed Vyasadeva, Vyasadeva instructed his disciple Madhavacharya. In this way, we have to go through also in the same way. First of all, offer respect to the spiritual master, as he has done to Shukadeva Goswami. In this section, Prabhupada is presenting the very important point of understanding where's the empowerment and where is it coming from. The moment we as a devotional practitioners neglect offering respectful obeisances to a spiritual master, we can see in the past and in the history of varieties of spiritual organizations, unfortunately including ISKCON as well, and I think we have to be real on this one, is that the moment we disconnect ourselves from the continuation of parampara and keep that respect and honor to us, then that's where the empowerment is finished. So in this verse, Prabhupada is emphasizing, quote, don't try to approach Krishna directly, jump over. That is useless. As you receive knowledge through the steps, parampara system, similarly we should approach Krishna through these steps. So it's very clear. It's very clear. Many times you see varieties of denominations and practitioners and they ask a question, why I can't approach Krishna directly? Why I can't approach God directly? Well, the question is, do you know who God is? Do you know what are his qualities, his features, paraphernalias? Do you know the standard of offering prayers? Do you know how to perform these activities? Do you have anyone who's shared with you the knowledge to actually approach God correctly? So the emphasis of Srila Prabhupada is that who are we to approach God directly? Therefore, the via medium of a spiritual master or senior Vaishnavas needs to always be present in our life. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai. Then Prabhupada went very intensely into sort of a act of comparison between what is the activity of of a bona fide spiritual practitioners and what are the activities of a modern day so-called civilization. Quote, that is human civilization, how to get out of this darkness of ignorance. Not the dogs and cats jumping in very jubilant. I'm a big dog, let me jump over. This is not civilization. That is animal civilization. They are jumping naked. We are jumping dressed. That's all. That is the difference. Otherwise, where is the difference? So long we have got this bodily concept of life, let me enjoy this body, senses. So out of this section we can see that the actual discrimination between human being and not a human being is not in the body. It's not that just because we have body with 2 legs and 2 arms and a head, we can actually call ourselves humans. No, that's just you have certain physical features. But the actual culture of human society is based on activities and consciousness that you possess. You can still have 2 legs, but you can still be a pashu. You can still be an animal. So what Prabhupada is many times often using this analogy of cats and dogs. So yes, they have a certain type of body, but more importantly, there's a certain consciousness they possess. They don't carry themselves with dignity. They don't perform ritualistic activity, or not religious activities and spiritual activities. Therefore, they're no different than cats and dogs. Prabhupada is continuing. He's quoting Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, amongst the senses, the most powerful sense is the tongue. Most powerful sense. You see, they are smoking, chain smoker, going on. What is this? There is some sensation. And if we smoke cigarette or drink, it is simply the tongue. The tongue is dictating. Do this, do that, take this, take coffee, take tea, smoke, take flesh, take chicken, take this, take. So interesting that Prabhupada is mentioning here Bhaktivedanta Thakur, who wrote the very famous prayers in terms of honoring prasadam. So even in a simple activity like taking up food, a conscious devotee or conscious Vaishnava understands that tongue is a very ferocious sense. It's not just a muscle without a bone, but it's a very strong central organ which, if it's uncontrolled, can do a lot of damage. There's one very interesting saying. He said, if you can control TBG, you can go BTG. Have you heard this one before? If you can control tongue, belly, and genitals, you can go back to Godhead. So if you can control TBG, you can go BTG. So that's a very interesting thing. If you can control that, everything starts with the tongue. Everything starts with understanding that tongue is either best of friends, just like the mind, or the worst of enemies. So, and Prabhupada further on goes, so you know the story that one dog was crossing over a small rivulet, and he saw the picture of another dog in the water. And actually there was no dog. He was carrying some food in his mouth, and he saw another dog within the water. So he thought, let me take his foodstuff from the mouth. And here Prabhupada is emphasizing the activity of simplicity. As in Sri Ishopanishad is mentioned that all of us, we have a specific quota which is given to us. So there's one interesting statement presented by Jiva Goswami is mentioning that the actual greatest renunciation is to be Krishna conscious. Because we know there are 3 types of renunciation, or tapasya of the body, tapasya of speech, and tapasya of mind. So tapasya of body is to perform certain activities which put us in some inconvenience. The tapasya of speech is to be pleasant, palatable, and truthful. And the tapasya of mind, or renunciation of the mind, is to actually be sharalata, to be simple. So the greatest austerity of the mind is to actually practice simplicity. Because simplicity is how is it? It's complicated to be simple, and it's simple to be complicated. I'll let that sink in. It's complicated to be simple, and it's simple to be complicated. Therefore, if you look in a modern society, what we just see physical manifestation of our minds, right? When you go and look, every major and even small city, every town has a big shopping centers, right? There are all these different facilities and shops just to facilitate your complication. Just to facilitate our complicated minds, there are so many things to buy. And if you need to buy so many things, you need to earn. And if you need to earn, you need to spend a lot of time in work. And if you need to spend a lot of time in work, you cannot practice so easily Krishna consciousness. So complication is manifestation of the activity that we just cannot be simple. That's why the greatest renunciation or the greatest tapasya of the mind is actually being simple. Then Prabhupada continues. So this is kind of expansion unnecessarily. Therefore our philosophy is, be satisfied whatever God has given you. Tena tyaktena bunjita magrida kasyasvidhanam. You be satisfied whatever is given to you by God, allotted to you. Don't try to encroach upon others' property. So the modern philosophy of today's day and age is that the big fish eats the small one, right? Constant expansion, always getting more. So this is just, again, one of the symptoms of Kali Yuga, which comes from the unsatisfied and uncontrolled mind. Then there was a very interesting section which Prabhupada speaks. Yes, then he speaks about this Charvaka Muni. That it is not a new thing. This atheistic philosophy was there long ago. They have not discovered anything new. It is already there. In India, the atheistic philosophy was already there. Charvaka Muni. He used to say, enjoy life, senses, gratify your senses some way or another. No, I have no sufficient money. Rinam kritva, take, beg, borrow, steal, bring money. Right? So, this one thing reminded me of what is very popular amongst younger generation today. And there's another manifestation of this philosophy. Have you ever heard about this terminology called YOLO? Have you heard about this? YOLO, it's an acronym. It means you only live once. You only live once. So what is this? It's not just the acronym. It's actually a lifestyle. It's actually consciousness. It's actually similar philosophy to the Charvaka Muni. It's a philosophy which has been here for a long time. And what does it mean? It's a ticket that you can do whatever you want because there's no tomorrow. You only live once. You only have this one lifetime. There's only this one body. So therefore you do whatever you would like to do without no consequences and fear from what will happen as a result of your activities. So there's no causality to your duties, or not to your duties, to your activities. Therefore, bring money some way or another, beg, borrow, or steal. Therefore, enjoy. Like there is no tomorrow. Prabhupada says, don't bother about next life. When your body, when it's finished, it will be burned into ashes. Then the ashes will be lost. No more you are coming. So this is going on. Because people have no knowledge about the next life, they are not interested with the spiritual education. That is the difficulty. They are not at all interested. Why people do not come here? They think that these people will say that there is life after death. And if you do not do nicely, you will have to suffer. All this nonsense we have to hear, utopian. So this is just another interesting approach, saying that people actually don't want to be educated. People don't want to have the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding. Why? Because it brings responsibility here and now. It makes you responsible for your thinking, makes you responsible for your actions, makes you responsible for the way you live. And people don't want that, right? There's this blissful ignorance. That's bliss. But if you present spiritual education to people, that they know they have to take responsibility and do something which is really, really, really uncomfortable. Something which is really difficult and really challenging. And that is, face themselves. Face the reality of who they are and what is the best way to function and how to progress towards there. And people don't want to hear that. Try it as an experiment. Go to someone and present the options of their possible changes for better. See what will be the reactions of people. They will not be so happy with you. So that's what Srimad Bhagavatam is doing. That's what spiritual education is for. It presents who we are, which stage we are at, and what is the desired goal. So just to wrap up, Prabhupada says, although he is pulled by the ear, by the material nature, he is thinking he is free. He is freedom. They are struggling for freedom. What is this nonsense freedom? You are under the grip of material nature. Where is your freedom? Now you have got. Nature has given you this human form of body. Next, you may get another body. Next you may. This is under the control of material nature. So yeah, in conclusion, education is important. You should understand who you are, what is the natural behavior of human society and how we should act in Krishna consciousness. And then Prabhupada finished, this is Krishna consciousness. So I'll finish there. If there are any other points Vaishnavas would like to share, questions, notes, anything. Taruna Prabhu?
If you can manage with BTG or whatever, how you call this?
If you can control TBG.
So it can send you to BTG, then you
Back to
basically don't need a guru, initiating guru, whatever. You can learn from different aspects. Like this Avanti Brahmana, he had, 9 gurus. He was self-realized. So there's a possibility. I mean, I don't know how far he went, but without actual official guru, you can go back to Godhead. You see, although like we said, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, but this is just our parampara, our way. But there are other schools of thought which can actually.
My understanding is that Guru is not only a person and not only a tattva, but Guru is also manifestation of your humility to be subordinate to God. Because Guru represents God, and you can only go back to spiritual realm if you submit yourself, if you present some activities of humility and some activity of, okay, there is a higher power, there is some higher feature which directs my life. So that's what Guru represents. And if someone says, I don't need guru to practice spirituality, then what you're saying is, I don't need to submit myself to anyone, and I can still go to the realm which centers about one person particularly. So what you're saying is that I don't need to practice humility or be humble to be in a spiritual world, and that is false in itself.
You can offer respect to different media which gives you knowledge. Like this Avanti Brahman, he was very humble. He respected he respected the different aspects in nature. And he learned, he was humble. But it's not that he, rendered service to those. He was just
I would say
observing intelligently like
this. Those paraphernalias and animals which the Avanti Brahmana was referring to, those can be considered as Shiksha Gurus. Shiksha Gurus in the sense, my spiritual master says that Martin Luther King said that the Bible, or he made this interesting point that the spiritual teachings are not only written in books, the spiritual teachings are written in trees, on leaves, on mountains, flowers, rivers, which means that anything can become your Shiksha Guru. But you need Diksha, you need someone who actually takes somehow like a personal responsibility and connects you to the mercy coming through parampara. So yes, what Avanti Brahma was presenting was instructions. And you can take instructions from many individuals or paraphernalias or personalities or events or whatever it may be. But there is a unique and a special position of initiating spiritual master who actually links you. Who's that chain? And you connect to that chain. So Bhagavatam doesn't always present the full picture. like in the sense of Narada Muni. We see Narada Muni, but we know his previous life and even previous life. So question may be raised, do we have a information about the previous life of this Avanti Brahmana? We don't. So I'm sure there was somewhere in one point a guru in his life. Yes, Govinda Prabhu.
I always find this a very interesting topic. I'll just make two comments. One that kind of backs up your mood, and one that backs up Taruna's mood. On the topic of the Avanti Brahmana, we have the example of Pingala. One of the persons he learned from was Pingala, and it appears superficially that Pingala just became a devotee through renunciation. She's a prostitute, and she never got any customers, and she became very disheartened, and then through that renunciation she became a devotee. But there's a backstory to that where she actually did some service to some rishi previously, so she got the sukriti. So it backs up what you're saying. But to go back to Truna Prabhu's point, what about the statement, if one controls the 6 urges, then one is qualified to take disciples all over the world? Someone might take that as that's authorization. So if for some reason, if they are fortunate enough to become controlled, they will think, I don't actually need authorization from any person in Parampara, because that is my authorization. That statement is authorization in itself. Therefore, because I within myself, hypothetically in my case, but because I within myself am controlled, therefore I now have the right to, and duty almost, to take disciples based on that verse. I don't need any other authorization.
Is this a question? There's mother here which had a question, if you don't mind. So this will be last question and point, and then we can finish the class.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Turn it up.
Hare Krishna. What was coming to my mind is in the last couple of years, we speak less, we type more, we more WhatsApp, we more message. So is it really the mind that has to be controlled and not the tongue? Like, of course, we want to purify the tongue, we want to purify, like we say the prayers. But somehow I feel I message more than actually speak.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think it's actually purifying the mind? Because the mind is then giving the message to the tongue or my fingers. Like I sometimes find myself purify my tongue, but purify my fingers also, because what I'm typing, the other person receives it in the right context.
That's a very, very nice point. Yes, I think you nailed it in a way that it actually starts from the mind. So again, yes, the tongue is just it's uncontrolled because the mind is uncontrolled. But same time, they're interconnected in the sense that, let's say, if you eat, even by mistake, some, let's say, very palatable foodstuff, it may trigger a reaction in the mind that, you know what, maybe I have more, something different. And the tongue again reacts to it. So the reason why tongue is that we accept varieties of palatable dishes, which may create sort of a sensual tingling in the mind. And same time, if we speak prajalpa, or if we speak unwanted, unnecessary things, that again may trigger something in the mind. But if we chant Hare Krishna and discuss Krishna Katha, that will pacify the mind, and the mind will again send some impulses that function like this tongue, So it's like they're connected. It is said that mind is considered to be one of the senses, but same time the sense of tasting is also a sense. So they are connected very strongly, but they also have their own individuality. I think we're going to finish here, if you don't mind. It's 5:35. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitya Gaura Premanande.